Hello there, Elizabeth. Okay, let's go. In this constantly modernizing society, family communication is observed to be moving towards a descending trend. Okay, not bad. I agree that communication among members of a family has decreased mainly for two reasons. Firstly, the role of technological advancements and the utilization of the internet have risen significantly. Good. Secondly, there is a presence of changing socioeconomic status among families over the last half century. Okay, and then there is a presence. Well, there's a better way to say that. Okay, there is. Secondly, changing economic statuses among families over the last, or the occurrence of changing, the occurrence is the best word there. This topic will discuss these issues using examples from Australia to demonstrate points and support arguments. Good. Firstly, the innovation of new technology, the creation of the internet, mobile phones, and personal devices has transformed family communication significantly. Good. For instance, I think this should be a "this is because" now. But anyway, let's carry on. For instance, in Australia, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, well, look, redundancy. If we're going to say this, Australian Bureau, we don't really need to say Australia. And also, we've already said it here. Okay? So we could say, for instance, the Australian Bureau of Statistics reported that Generation Y interrelates, okay, less with their parents as they are preoccupied with the increased demands of schoolwork and engaged frequently with electronic devices. Not bad. Very good. There is now a reduced amount of affirming communication. You don't. Okay. Try to reduce the adverbs. Okay, and we can go for it'll just make it a little bit clearer. Okay, and it seems as though we're sticking in a lot of them. It seems as though there's too many. All right. So there is now a reduced amount of communication among families as young people. We've already used engaged. As young people are occupied by work, by schoolwork, and their gadgets, okay, and their electronic gadgets. Okay, not bad. Let's try and keep to the sentence guide though. Okay, it would have been a little bit easier to follow. So, secondly, the presence of changing socioeconomic statuses of families has contributed to altered communication. Okay, another presence. We've already said presence previously, so we want to avoid repetition. So we could say, secondly, let's see, the transformation, and we've already used that whole sentence previously. So we could say, secondly, transformations, socioeconomic transformations has changed communication significantly. Full stop. In the past half of the century, women have entered the workplace environment. Full stop. Okay. Thus it is common, comma, especially in Australia. Well, we could just say this. In Australia, it is common for mothers entering the workplace to pay for child care. Full stop. For example, recent studies by the IMF have shown that families are now working 20% more in the 21st century compared to the 19th century. Wonderful, wonderful. Or we could just say, our work are now working 20% more compared to the 19th century. Full stop. And it's clear then. Okay, it's going back to that theme of redundancy. All right, especially if we're saying recent. Okay. If we're saying recent, then we know we're in the 21st century, okay? So, comparing the social and economic alterations today to 50 years ago, well, 50 years ago? Are we still in the 21st century, 50 years ago? Yeah. So we should say, comparing the social and economic alterations of today, there is a new perspective which challenges family conversations. Good. In conclusion, communication is highly communication is influencing heavily alongside socioeconomic factors in reducing family communication. Hence, this pattern may likely evolve as more countries head towards Western economic style economies. Would be a bit more accurate. Okay. Actually, increased economic growth is also viable. It's also valid. And that's a wonderful first essay, Elizabeth. Okay. Now, what you need to do is implement all the corrections that you've heard in this video. Send me back the corrected version. Then look at the email, which has 2 new essay questions in, which I want you to answer, and an error spotting exercise. Okay? Also, make a list of all the mistakes that have been made in this essay, and then send it all back to me in one email, and we're cooking with gas. Okay? Well done, Mary Elizabeth. Let's keep going.